Hey guys, so for today we are going to be talking all about like labor, delivery, like my labor and delivery stories. I have 3 babies, so I went through 3 deliveries and things that I thought that I needed at the hospital and things that I actually did not need at all. So if you like videos like this, make sure to give this a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. I would love to have you here. Okay, so let's get right into it. I was 27 when I was pregnant with my first daughter, Brielle. She's 6 now, and I remember feeling like so huge. My stomach was so huge, and I remember looking down at my stomach and saying, how is this going to come out of my body? Typically, from what I've heard from just my own personal experience and then all the other moms and my friends who've had babies, it's the first time it seems like it's the hardest because your body hasn't gone through labor yet. It hasn't pushed a big baby out of you yet. So the first time always is super scary because you don't know what to expect. You don't know, I mean, the fear of the unknown is terrifying. But it's also very exciting. It's a wonderful time in your life and it's just the best. It's the absolute best. But so when I went to the hospital with Brielle, and I actually went like a few different times to the hospital, like weeks and months before I had Brielle, because I kept having these like signs, or you'd have Braxton Hicks that were very consistent, and you just never know. I mean, that was happening to me even with my third child, when I was carrying my third child, Olivia. Like, you don't know. Sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, is this the real thing? And you go to the hospital and everything stops and they send you back home. My delivery with Brielle was okay. I had vaginal birth for all 3 girls, and I had an epidural for all 3 girls because I'm not about that painful life. I didn't want to feel anything. I was just so scared. I did not want to put myself through that. So I had an epidural with Brielle, and I have to say every epidural is very different. I had 3 epidurals, 1 for each, and each one of them was different. So Brielle's was like, it sort of worked. The one with Ava worked like a charm. Like, it was just so good. And then my last one with Olivia, only half of my body got the epidural. So half of my body was like limp and just like a heavy weight. And I could just feel like myself like being pulled down into the bed. And then the other half of me felt everything. Everything. So you never know what you're gonna get. But with your first child, you usually labor longer because for whatever reason, it takes your body a longer time to kind of gear up and know what to do. So I did. I labored a long time with Brielle. And going to the hospital was fine. They don't, like, once you get your epidural, you can't eat anymore, but you can have popsicles, which is a godsend because you're just like, you just need something. But my labor with Brielle was really funny because I was dilated to 10, and then the nurse and the doctor say, okay, honey, you're dilated to 10, it's time to push. And I remember looking at them and I started to cry, and I'm like, I don't want to do this, I want to have a C-section. And they're like, no, honey, you don't want to have a C-section, you can do this. And I remember being like, I'm too young to have a baby. I mean, I was 27 years old. I mean, it wasn't like I was 13 and pregnant. Like, I don't know. So, did that. I pushed for a few hours with Brielle. She finally came out. Everything was great. It was magical. It was just the best feeling ever. It was just, if I could just, it's like, it literally is the best day of your life. It is just the ultimate, just everything, the whole experience. So once you deliver the baby, they immediately put the baby on you, and you have skin to skin, which is awesome. And you get to do that. At the hospital that I delivered at, they give you a full hour. So they don't let anyone come into your room. They let you bond with the baby, which is amazing. And during that time, you're being very distracted, seeing your baby and kissing and loving and holding and just looking at your baby. And then they are stitching you up. I had to get stitches for every pregnancy. You're pushing out your placenta, which I know is gross. It's super gross, but you have to do it. It's like delivering like another 4-pound baby afterwards that nobody talks about. And honestly, it's nothing compared to pushing out a big baby, so it's not a big deal. But you know what's funny? When I had Brielle, After I did all that, they put it in a bowl and they're like, do you want to look at your placenta? And I'm like, no, I'm good. And the nurse lady or the doctor, whoever it was, picked it up and said, this is a really healthy looking placenta. And I'm like, that's amazing. I'm glad some part of me is healthy. So with Ava, with my middle child, she's 4.5 now, it was a completely different experience. It was really easy. I already knew, like, I had a planned, not a C-section, but I was 2 days overdue. So I had 40 weeks plus 2 days. And so they said, come in and we'll get you started. And everything went really smoothly with her. I remember my epidural was amazing. And I remember the doctor saying to me, okay, it's gonna feel like she's coming out. Try to hold her in as long as possible. And I'm like, okay. And you know what's weird is my epidurals do, they give me the shakes, like uncontrollably, like shaking your body. And I just remember, I mean, I felt pain, not anything bad, but I remember holding onto the side of the bed and shaking and like, okay, I think the baby's coming out. So the nurse comes in and she checks me, she's like, you're at 10, this baby's about to come out. And then all of a sudden, nurses, doctors, I mean, it feels like your room completely fills up. Like all of a sudden, there are 50 people in your room. They turn these lights on that you didn't even see. You've been staring at the ceiling like all day. These lights come on, they bring in this big toolbox. Not like a little toolbox, like the ones they have at like an auto repair place, like the big push ones. They open it up, you see all the stuff people are in. The doctor puts on this mask like she's going into like, I don't know, everyone's geared up, ready, staring at you. So this is probably different for some people. At the hospital that I delivered at, it's a training hospital, so there were a bunch of residents coming in, which I didn't care. I mean, at that point, you don't care, like, just get this baby out safely. So with Ava, it was super easy. She was out in 3 pushes. Big, healthy, beautiful baby. Everything was really perfect. Okay, so the last delivery. So they say, and which I kind of thought, I'm like, I was nervous that the baby was going to come out like on the way to the hospital. I'm like, this baby's just going to fall right out of me. I've had 2 babies already. This third one is just going to, I mean, I was really worried that I was going to have the baby like on the way to the hospital in the car. I'm like, what am I going to do? So I was really, really nervous. That didn't happen. Did not happen at all. Got to the hospital, same as everything. I loved the room that I had. I was like all these windows, and I was really happy. The girls were with the grandparents, and just things were really working out. So I get the epidural, and everything seemed fine. Everything seemed really, I mean, everything was normal. And then I started feeling lots of pain. And I said to the nurse, I said, I'm feeling lots of pain, which is kind of unusual when you have the epidural. So they upped what they gave me. And I remember kind of feeling like, oh, I felt better. But then the pain came back again, and I remember getting more. And then all of a sudden, I was just like, I couldn't move half of my body. I could not move my leg. And I know you can't really anyways when you have an epidural, but this was different. Because I was also extremely like, uncomfortable. Like I could feel everything on like this half, so like my stomach, and they kept rolling me over to the side. So like if this side of me had full epidural and I was numb, they laid me on my sides, so like it would drip down to this side. That didn't work. And all of a sudden I was just in a lot of pain. And I was trembling. I had the shakes, so I'm shaking, and I never had this before, but I started like, I don't know if I went into like a panic mode or an attack mode, which I've never had before, but all of a sudden I was like throwing up, and I was like, started to feel like out of control, like I was in so much pain, and I couldn't stay calm. I got really nervous. I don't know, something just like came over me, and I was just like, felt crazy. Like I was throwing up, and then they had to put air on me, which I've never had before. They put some oxygen on me. That did make me feel better. But then I don't know, I mean, the nurses kept coming in and they were checking, and it was just like a weird vibe going on, and I was just like, I don't know, something just doesn't feel right. So once I did all that and I delivered, it was my hardest delivery. Her head is really large, and I think that was my problem. She was kind of like stuck. It was super hard to get her out. I felt pretty much everything because they stopped giving me the epidural because of all the issues I was having. So I delivered Libby. She was 8 pounds, 13 ounces. She's perfect. Everything is healthy. Everybody's great. I look over at my main nurse who had been with me for a long time, and God bless all the nurses in delivery. They are angels. They deserve raises and bonuses. They are like ride or die human beings sent from God. They are just absolutely amazing. The things that they have to witness and go through on a daily basis, I'm like, you couldn't pay me enough. But my nurse looked at me, and I was very happy with the baby and whatever, but I looked over and she had a worried look on her face, and she was like, you were seconds away from having an emergency C-section. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah. She's like, we were very worried because the baby wasn't coming out and you were having so many problems and you had the oxygen and all of that. And I was like, nobody told me. Nobody told me. I knew like inside, I'm like, something's not right. Like I've never experienced this. And like, I literally thought the baby was just gonna like fall out, but it didn't work like that. So needless to say, you never know. Don't think that just because you're having a second child, it's not gonna be an easy delivery. Like you just never ever know. Okay, so things you need at the hospital. My hospital was amazing. They literally had everything that you needed. What I brought the first time, I brought pretty much like everything. I brought tons of outfits. I brought diapers, wipes, all these ointments and everything like that. And honestly, you don't need them when you're in the hospital because they have little clothes, they have the little swaddles, they have everything the baby needs. The diapers, the little wipes that they have, the comb, I mean, they give you everything. And especially for after birth, for you as well, they have everything. I mean, definitely don't pack cute underwear. I wouldn't do any of that. And they actually, my hospital supplied these like mesh type of underwear, and they were fine because really you're just kind of like in survival mode anyway. So I would just, I don't know, definitely check with what your hospital has. I'm assuming most are pretty standard, but they could be different where you live. My hospital had everything. What I did bring was a boppy because I was nursing, so I did bring that. And really you didn't need that either. You could prop up pillows, and I had done that too. But the boppy was like an extra nice, just like to have. I definitely brought clothes. You definitely need clothes for the baby to go home in, and if you want to take pictures and stuff like that, it's really nice. They say to sometimes bring like your nursing pump with you. I never did. They do have them at the hospital, and I was never good at pumping anyways, but to like have my milk come in faster, they had me do that, I think, with one of my pregnancies, and it didn't work anyways. So it usually takes, I mean, for me, some people comes right in really easily. I mean, mine was like 4 or 5 days, which is really stressful when your baby's like losing weight and you just, you know, they're hungry and you want to feed them, but you're trying to like nurse them. So other than that, I would definitely bring like some flip-flops, because if you're going to get in the shower, you're going to want to have those on your feet. They supply towels, all the towels you need, everything like that. You may want to bring your own pillow. I know a lot of people like to do that. That was really nice. But as far as like a birthing gown, I don't know. I mean, it's up to you if you have the money and you want to do that. But you don't need it. You're not going to want it afterwards, because, I mean, your whole body comes out of your body, you know, and, I mean, things get pretty bad. So I would just, it's going to get covered in blood, so I wouldn't even worry about that. I mean, if you want to look cute, totally do you. That's really cute. I love pictures like that, but definitely don't need that. But I would bring like your diaper bag. You definitely need your car seat in your car. Make sure your car is, like, your car seat has been checked and is properly put in. I know lots of, like the firehouses do that, police stations do it, they do different events. I would definitely just get that checked, just some peace of mind. Hey guys, so
when I was editing this video, which I'm doing right now, I noticed that I just kind of like cut off. So I just want to say thanks for watching. I know there was a lot of information and it was kind of like all over the place. Like I should have like written it down and kind of kept to it, but my favorite is like just doing like regular chats, like just like from me to you, like what I went through. And so everything may be out of order